I'd like to pay respects to the Wurundjeri elders, both past and present, and as I say, encourage those of us, all of us, if we're non-Indigenous, to give due recognition to the centrality of Aboriginal knowledge and histories.
The Food for Thought Network aims to empower, support, connect and sponsor women. It's a simple goal, but an important one, and that's because women play an enormous role in inspiring one another. A woman's voice can be as beautiful and powerful as any other quality. The challenge some of us face is finding the right platform to use this voice. International Women's Day has become that platform for many people around the world. The Food for Thought Network has always welcomed both women and men as our partners, contributors and friends, so we can contribute to raising much needed awareness about what prevents and assists women to succeed. Today's event is an example of what we do. So let's use today's event to confront some of the challenges out here and look at how we can make a difference from top down and bottom up. It was the inspirational Malala Yousafzai who said, "When the whole world is silent, even one voice becomes powerful." It's my hope that you will all live today feeling that little more confident to use your voice to support and champion others.
I have a message today, and essentially it's a very simple one. We have to work together and to speak up together to achieve what we know to be right. Shockingly, Australia's ranking for political empowerment of women rests at 61st in the world. Our ranking for ministerial positions takes us down to 77th. For labour force participation, Australia ranks 54th, and for wage equality, we rank 63rd. As you will all know, the gender pay gap in Australia is about 18%, and average superannuations for women at retirement in Australia are 47%, nearly 50% less than men. And more than 3 million Australian women are responsible for unpaid care. I have been very heartened by the sisterhood in Parliament, by the fact that Michaela Cash can share a joke with Hanson Young because they see things from very much the same perspective. So I guess I would like to finish then, if I may, by congratulating you all for this remarkable pulling together through the Manningham City Council and Food for Thought. We need to do more of this, and we need a more identifiable, less fractured movement to ensure that the voice of women and that political power is realised around the issues that we all care so much in Australia.
You don't need to have to be a mayor or the next female prime minister to make a difference. It is a responsibility for all members of society, men and women alike, to continue to be catalysts for the positive change. And I particularly take what I heard from our keynote speakers. Women usually think we need to be perfect before we take any action. And I just want to encourage everyone, take a brave step, take an action.
I am not negotiable. When you exist in the centre of a debate as a topic, a hypothesis, otherised and stigmatised, cast into a TV reality program, you awake every morning to learn who has voted you off and who will allow you another night in citizenship limbo. In the name of my democracy, I am discussed. In the name of my freedom, I am controlled. In the name of breaking down stereotypes, I am served on a platter to the media, to an editorial, op-ed, a talkback show, a panel, to be tasted, chewed over and spat out, leaving me with indigestion, while you pat yourself on your back for your magnanimous efforts to understand the other. Understand this. I do not want you to understand me if by understanding me you will insist on misunderstanding me first. Listen, I would prefer it if you did not reduce me to a suffix just because you see me as a mere ism, extremism, fundamentalism, terrorism, radicalism. I tell you, I am bored with your laziness. To the media which wants to own me, I say this. I will not be a negotiable citizen in my own country. You will not tolerate me or decide if I have a place in my own home. I am no one's victim, no one's pawn. Listen to me clearly. I am not negotiable.
In a Victoria-wide science talent search, if you are a teacher, you will be familiar with this. The requirement was to write a book with illustrations. I wrote the book, but just because it had illustrations, that shouldn't stop a person with a disability or a sight impairment from being able to participate. So we got specialist paper, and I drew the pictures using the raised line drawing kit. And I put those pictures in and submitted the book, and of course, received the bursary for that. In 2012, as part of a school project, I created a very similar book and did the same thing. I now have an iPad, and I am insisting that my mother sit down with me so I can practice taking photos. So you see, there are two aspects to success. Never expect. I treat others the way I want to be treated. It's a very basic thing you learned in primary school, but by God, it resonates for the rest of your life. And bring yourself into the real world instead of expecting the world to come to you.
I remember asking the women, if you did have money, what would you do? What are your dreams for your future? And every single one of those 7 women said that they would want to help women back in their village areas to succeed, and because they were in a worse situation than the women living in the tin shed. And I realised at that point, I remembered a phrase that I learned in gender studies at university, that when you support a woman, she supports her family and her whole community. And I remember emailing home to my mum and asking her, Mum, do you think one person can make a difference? And she said, yep, go for it, we'll support you, whatever you decide to do. So at that point, I had $200 Australian left, and I was discussing with the women, how we can use that money in the most sustainable way possible. And we decided that that would pay for 2 Nepalese trainers to train these women for 3 months in a skill. So the women started learning how to make knitted products, and I brought them back then to Australia to sell them. And I've been doing that now for the past 10 years and have an incredibly supportive team of 50 volunteers here. And we've been able to raise a lot of money to fund our 3 core programs, which are literacy, skills training and income generation in Nepal for over 5,000 women that are having amazing ripple effects now in Nepal. So we've seen a decrease in domestic violence from this, and we've seen a decrease in migration levels of women abroad to Gulf countries that get very badly exploited a lot of the time. And we've seen an increase in these women forming women's groups that now go to their local government and demand their rights and ask, what are our rights and what should you be doing for our community?